2024 Lexus IS 500 F Sport Performance. And yes, if you're familiar with my videos, you're probably thinking, wow, manufacturers really sure like blue for press cars. Let's throw some numbers around, shall we? 4 doors, 5 seats, 8 cylinders, 472 horsepower, 395 pound-feet of torque, and 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. I said it when I reviewed the RCF, and I will say it again. The Toyota/Lexus 5-liter 2UR V8 is one of the best sounding V8 engines in production right now. Just listen. Sport S Plus, manual mode, give it a few downshifts. Oh man. It's so good. Realistically, I would say it's the best sounding V8 engine that you can currently buy right now, if not for one car, and that is the Chevrolet Corvette Z06. I'm sorry, Mustang fans and Camaro fans and everybody else, I know, but listen, I love the Mustang, I love the Coyote, I am a big LS enthusiast, but this engine sounds so incredible. It is absolutely intoxicating. It revs to 7,500 RPM, and the downshifts are just they're so brutal. I've had to stop at so many gas stations to put so much gas in this car for the week that I've been driving it, and it really just hasn't taken any toll on my mental stability, because every time I'm sitting right here, I get to listen to this engine, and it makes me so happy. Now, let's go back to those downshifts for a second. We are in Sport S Plus mode. Let's talk about the 8-speed automatic that is attached to this. Now, let's take a step back to those downshifts and talk for a second about this 8-speed automatic paddle-shifted transmission. I know, me too. We all wish that it was available with a manual, but Lexus hasn't made a manual car in like 10 or 12 years, so we're all gonna have to collectively build a bridge and get over it. I said this in the RCF video, and I'm gonna say it again. The transmission is good when you're using it in high performance modes, and it's not unbelievably fast on the shifts, but it is more than good enough. It's not dual clutch fast, and I feel spoiled to be like, oh, these 35 millisecond shifts aren't that fast. But that's just the world we're in now. It is a great transmission. However, when you're just kind of driving it normally, it does some funky stuff. Like downshifting especially, it really seems like it doesn't know what it wants to do, and it can give you a little bit of a like clunky, lurchy ride experience, which is not what one might call ideal for a luxury sedan. Of course, if you're taking the F Performance model and you're getting one with a V8, you're gonna have to understand that you're sort of sacrificing some of the creature comforts of luxury, but it is still a Lexus IS, so I do have to bring up that the transmission, especially the downshifts when you're not really getting on it, funky. Just a little bit weird. Back to this glorious 5-liter V8. Like I said, 0 to 60 only takes 4.4 seconds. It'll throw you back in the seat. Nearly 400 pound-feet of torque, nearly 500 horsepower, 7,500 RPM redline. It's a glorious, glorious thing. But the F Performance badges imply that this is not a straight line car, so obviously it only makes sense that we take it to a windy road and see how it does in the corners. I have a lot of faith. Toyota is obviously no stranger to developing a car that handles really well, and Lexus. And 3 letters will remind you that Lexus knows what they're doing with suspension development too, and those 3 letters are LFA. But the LFA is a decade old. It's still a phenomenal car, but this has 10 more years of experience in engineering and design and technology development for handling. So I'm gonna go into this assuming this thing's going to be pretty good. No matter what, though, it's going to be hard to take this experience and put any sort of bad flavor on it, because I'm in a rear-wheel drive sedan with almost 500 horsepower and one of the best sounding V8s on the planet. So I'll try to level the biases, but it's going to be tough. What will keep me humble, though, is the fact that this road that I'm about to drive this car on is the very same road that I just drove the GR Corolla circuit on. So my last experience and my standards are very, very high right now. The GR Corolla is without doubt a high bar for handling, but that doesn't mean we should instantly rule out the IS 500 just because it's big, though. The F Sport Performance model comes standard with adaptive variable suspension to help keep it flat during the corners. It also has a set of 19-inch BBS shoes wrapped in Bridgestone Potenza Sport tires, which offer phenomenal grip performance and do a wonderful job of putting power down. I really love these tires. Am I a little bit biased because they let me drive an NSX Type S on the racetrack? No. No time like the present, so let's click this bad boy into Sport S Plus and take it up one of my favorite windy mountain roads. It's going to be interesting because this Lexus, as you would expect, has what I like to call luxury car numbness, which is the phenomenon in which you're going way, way faster than you think you're going because the ride's so smooth and nice. Oh my God. I just want to listen to that all day. We got a really sharp hairpin right here. Get her down into first. Felt the back end get a little wonky right there. Just hopping a little bit on one side. You can feel that it wants to get a little bit wonky. Oh, traction control saving me a little bit there. It does put the power down quite nicely, but you can feel, especially coming out of corners on a road like this, those back tires want to break loose. Oh, the low-end V8 torque just digging you out of these corners in higher gears. Awesome. It is quite nimble for such a big car, but it is a big car. This road's pretty tight. You're not going to be throwing this thing around like a GR Corolla or a GR86 or my beloved Fiesta ST, but man, it is holding its own quite nicely out here. The lateral G-forces are getting a little intense, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, this is such a fun road. I just love driving this road so much. It's hard for me to be critical of any car that I take on it. We're short shifting it. We don't want those tires breaking loose. We can only lean on the traction control so much. And just like that, we're here. Okay, like I said, very stable, very flat, not a lot of body roll in Sport S Plus mode. That's the F Performance engineering, right? Amazing. It's not a super nimble, throw it around, autocross type of car, but man, it's great. It's so much fun in a tight road. I'm not sure there's much more that you can ask out of a almost 500 horsepower, 4-door rear-wheel drive sedan. And to put the power down like that, keep you nice and flat in the corners and just kind of point and go where you want. The steering feels tight. It feels good. Not quite a go-kart, but more than good enough. More than fun. And just listening to that V8 roar the whole time, you got nothing to complain about. So let's recap a little bit, shall we? Phenomenal engine, phenomenal power, phenomenal handling for such a big luxury sedan. I hate to do this. I really don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth and speak ill of any manufacturer that's giving us a rear-wheel drive V8 car in 2024, but nothing is without its flaws, and the IS 500 does have a few, so I gotta talk about them. Indeed, complaining about a rear-wheel drive car with a V8 in 2024 is more than just biting the hand that feeds, it's biting the hand clean off. A lot of folks take aim at the Lexus IS's giant front grille and overall styling when it comes to complaints. Personally, I think it looks great, and I'm especially thankful that Lexus put an end to the IS coming with separated DRLs in the front bumper, instead opting for a single-piece headlight DRL assembly. It really makes the front end look a lot better. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, wait, weren't the separate DRLs like a long time ago? You're right. Congrats. You've landed on the biggest issue I have with this car. I know that I already told you that this is a 2024 model year IS 500F Sport, and I promise you I'm not super bad at math, but that car right there is 11 years old. Not that particular example, and I know it's hard to believe in looking at it, but this generation Lexus IS, the third generation IS, was released for the 2014 model year in 2013. It has been around for over a decade, and with an initial glance, it may not be obvious, but if you start looking closer, it starts to become clear that there's some parts of this car that have aged not so gracefully. The place above all else where you can look to see that exemplified is the interior. Let me explain. At first glance, the interior looks pretty standard for a luxury car. Black leather upholstery, a touchscreen infotainment system, heated and cooled seats, a heated steering wheel, and all that. But if you start to look closer, you'll start to see some artifacts from a different era and some things that are just kind of annoying. For example, the plastics on the door and the dash, while they do have a sort of leather-esque feel to them, when you get down to it, start to feel kind of cheap. The steering wheel just looks old. It really does. And we've evolved past the need. Please, Lexus, BMW, everybody else that's listening, stop. Stop with the recentering turn signal stock. It is the worst thing in the world. Half my shots in this video have had the turn signal left on because it just stays on. It doesn't cancel itself very well, and the stock recenters every time, so there's not really a way for me to know unless I'm paying close attention. And what am I supposed to do, pay attention while I'm driving? Worse yet though, this particular Lexus, the stock for the windshield wipers is the same. Stop, it sucks. I don't want that. Now, I complained about this in my RCF video as well, and a lot of RCF owners were very upset with me, but I'm going to complain once again about this touchpad that's one giant clickable button. 10 years ago, it might have been cool cutting edge technology, but now it's just super cumbersome. And I imagine earlier models, this was the only form of use for the infotainment center, but this is a 2024 model year car with a touchscreen, and implementing this only makes you have to go back and forth between the two. This is not good. It's dated, and this alone is enough to bring the whole car back to 2013. We don't need it anymore. We don't need the CD player. Basically everything that the driver interacts with just kind of really dates this car and unfortunately sort of drags it down. Another giant complaint that I have for this is a 2024 model year car, and there's not a single USB-C port in here. There's two USB-A ports in the center console and an aux port. Phones haven't had headphone jacks for like 5 years. This is way outdated, and it doesn't seem like it would be that difficult to update even just these little things. Get rid of the touchpad, put a USB-C port here, integrate some sort of phone holder, put the USB-C ports in the dash. We don't want them in the center console anymore. I think the thing that makes all of this most insulting is the fact that I just had a GR Corolla, and the GR Corolla, though half the price of this Lexus IS 500, has twice the modernity in the interior. The materials feel like higher quality. It has a USB-C port in the dash. The Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is way more responsive, and you don't have to use a stupid touchpad for half the uses on your infotainment system.
There's someone out there, I'll pack my bags to Rio. She's a dancer, but I'm a drummer. I'm lost in this world, but I found myself in Rio, on a blanket across the ocean.
So to make a long story short, the IS 500F Sport is a phenomenal car to drive. It's fast, it accelerates super well, and it has great handling characteristics, but compared to its competition from companies like Audi, BMW, Genesis, and all the other luxury sedan manufacturers, it's just a little bit too dated. What would be the ultimate dream come true in my eyes would be for Lexus to keep the engine go to a dual clutch transmission and bring us an all new IS platform that keeps up with the competition, brings modern amenities like USB-C ports to the table. My name is Braden Carlson. I want to thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I'm happy to announce that I have launched my own automotive journalism website called revreflection.com. You can check it out. The link will be in the description and the pinned comment. I did a review on a Bentley Continental GTC. You can see the video here on YouTube as well. Click on my channel if you want to check out some other car reviews and a bunch of project stuff and all sorts of things I've done over the years. And please bookmark Rev Reflection because I'm going to be writing a lot of enthusiast catered stuff, reviews on cool cars. I've got a really cool supercar coming up here pretty soon that I can't believe they're going to let me drive. Don't forget to press the like button. It helps a lot more than you might think. And press the subscribe button if you want to see more reviews and automotive content from me, Braden. You can follow me on Instagram, add me on Snapchat at BigB1011. But I will see you next time. I'm going to send you guys out with more sweet sounds of this 2UR V8 though, because my God, it's so good.